Ladies and gentlemen, good day and welcome to Vardhman Special Steels Limited Q1 FY23 earnings conference call hosted by IIFL Securities Limited. As a reminder, all participant lines will be in the listen-only mode and there will be an opportunity for you to ask questions after the presentation concludes. Should you need assistance during the conference call, please signal an operator by pressing star then 0 on your touchtone phone. Please note that this conference is being recorded. I now hand the conference over to Ms. Shreya M. from IIFL Securities. Thank you and over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Neeraj. Good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of IIFL Securities, I welcome you all to the earnings conference call for the Q1 FY23 for Vardhman Special Steels Limited. We are pleased to have with us Mr. Sachit Jain, Vice Chairman and Managing Director, and Mr. Sanjeev Singla, CFO. We will have the opening remarks from the management followed by a question and answer session. Thank you and over to you, sir.
Shreya, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our earnings call. With me are new ED of the company, Mr. R.K. Rewari, our CFO, Sanjeev Singla, our company secretary, Sonam. We also have with us one of our new board members, Shumon Chatterjee, who is joining the call. He is based in Gurgaon, and my daughter Soumya is also on the call. So a lot of us from the company side. And as before, we will start with a few comments in the beginning. But as you know, most of the large part of our con call is mostly questions raised by you that we will answer. But let me share with you that we had a very special quarter which just went by. Why is it special? In many ways. The most important way in which I would say it is special is we have really strengthened our company board. So we have 4 new board members. Mr. Rewari I already talked about, who is a new ED. He joined us as a chief executive in February and now made ED in the company. He has about 40 years experience and 30 years of that is with our group. And I worked with him very closely when I began my career in setting up the operations in Vardhman Textiles. We have 3 other directors that I'd like you to introduce you to. One is Ito-san from Aichi, who is the steel division. Ishigami-san, the earlier president of the steel division, is retired, and Ito-san has come in his place. And Ito-san is a steel man, but he also has deep forging experience, and he was head of president of Shanghai Forging. So he's got forging experience as well as China experience, and he'll be a very good addition to the board. And 2 new independent directors, Mr. Shumon Chatterjee, who's on this call. He is an Ahmedabad graduate of 89. He started with Levers, became the MD of Levi's India, and was the MD of SC Johnson India, and Chief Revenue Officer of Lenskart. Now he's an independent consultant, and he happens to be a batchmate of mine. That is an aside, but his core expertise is marketing, of course, general management after that. The other board member who's joined us is Mrs. Vidya Shah. She is from the Edelweiss Group. Her career is finance. She's also an MBA from Ahmedabad, same batch as ours, 89 batch. ICICI, investment banking, in few investment banks, and then of course Edelweiss since it was founded. She was the CFO of Edelweiss, and now she is the head of the Edelweiss Foundation. So her expertise is finance, as well as CSR, NGOs, and so on. So that she's going to be chairing our CSR committee in addition to being a board member. So with the addition of these board members introduction, let me also share why else this quarter was special. We have had record production, record sales. For the first time, we crossed 50,000 tons, actually 52,000 tons of sales. We had record profits after tax, of course, aided by Bharat Sarkar. We moved to the newer tax regimen of 25%. So that is the main reason why we got record profits. But within the quarter, we have within the quarter, in one particular month, we have hit 19,000 tons of sales. So, this shows that the company's ability to sell, and of course, production has kept max. We had record production in our SMS, in our rolling, as well as bright bar. So all around, the company has functioned well. So I wanted to thank my colleagues who are, very few of them are here, but Mr. Rewadi, as the head of all our operational team, is here. So on your behalf, he's here on behalf of the team. These are the main reasons why it was special. If you recall, some of you were there in the earlier call. In the previous call, I said this year is totally unpredictable. We have no way of giving any forecast. So I said for this year, all forecasts are out. Volatility was crazy. Ingot prices ranged from 38,000 at the low to 63,000 in the middle, came down to 42,000, went back to 52,000. So there was no way of predicting when to buy, when not to buy, when to stop, when to hold. So it is an absolutely crazy quarter. I have never seen something like this in my 30-year career. And when the price negotiation with the OEs happened, we have got price increases from most of the OEs. Some of the OEs have still not settled, but most of them have settled. So 9,000 rupees is the common increase most of the OEs have given for this quarter. Our expectation was higher. We were expecting between 12 to 15,000, and we deserve that. We deserve 15, but we're expecting 12 to 15,000. The OEs haven't given that because the sentiment of the steel industry changed on the 21st of May when the government changed the rules of doing business of steel in the country by imposing a 15% export tax on steel. Now, this tax that we understand is temporary. How temporary it is, till when it is, we don't know. But for the moment, it disrupted the steel pricing, changed the sentiment drastically as steel prices crashed, and therefore the OEs could manage by giving us a lesser increase than was perhaps due to us. In addition to Q1, we've also settled Q2 for most of the OEs. So there has been a price reduction of 4,000 rupees per ton for Q2. Of course, the raw material prices have also come down in Q2, so a reduction was warranted, perhaps not to the extent that the OEs have managed to get away with. So this is the overall scenario. Our EBITDA per ton is within the 7,000 to 10,000 rupees range that we said is our normal range. It is lower than Q1 of last year, which was over 12,000, and this year it's about 9,800 or something, so around that figure. So it is within that range, and we do believe that despite the uncertainties continuing, because the fluctuations 2% is going to become, and 2% is not total value, it's a shift. So the increase in margin, because we already have a lot of value-added products, but 2% is the shift, is the increase in the turnover because of the value-added products. So please don't think it's just 2% of the entire company's sales. But to share with you that we have already said in public and said it several times, Aichi's business, our partners, for some of you joining the call for the first time, Aichi Steel Corporation of Japan, which is part of Toyota Group, is our JV partners, and they expect to source between 30 to 50,000 tons per year in 3 years' time. So maybe 24, 25, or 25 there'll be maybe a spillover, but by 25, 26 we expect, I think 24, 25 we should get between 30 to 50,000 tons will be sourced by Aichi itself. Now, in addition to Aichi, there are other Japanese OEs that are approaching us and other tier 1 suppliers of Japanese OEs that are approaching us independently because they know with Aichi coming in, our processes are going to become much stronger. So those kind of inquiries coming in, we see this figure of 30 to 50,000 tons, in my opinion, will actually cross 50,000 tons as a total. So and today, as of now, the sales are minuscule. So the big chunk is going to happen in the next 3 years, starting this year itself. So starting already approvals from Toyota have started coming. So already mass manufacturing for some parts has begun. So every quarter we'll have more products coming online. So the mass manufacturing of Toyota products is going to be increasing every quarter.
Okay. So that's it from my side. I will again join. Thank you.
Thank you. Participants, you may press star and 1 to ask a question. The next question is from the line of Ritvik Seth from One Up Financial. Please go ahead.
Yeah. Hi. Good afternoon, everybody. And sir, congratulations on a great set of numbers.
Thank you.
So I had a few questions. Firstly, what would be the production for Q1 FY23?
Let me share the numbers.
It's 54,000 tons of billet production.
Okay.
And about 47,000 tons of roll production.
Okay. So then I would assume that we would have sold 5,000 from our inventory, and that means our inventory, which had increased in at the end of March.
Yes, you are right. Partly it is from the inventory, and partly it is from outside rolling.
Okay, from outside rolling also. Okay. And so.
Hello.
We seem to be cut off. Are we cut off, or is he cut off?
I can hear you.
No, sir, you're audible.
Sabri?
Yeah. So we can hear you.
Oh, so the questionnaire is got cut off then. Okay. So yes, to answer his question, yes, inventory levels have come down partly. So sales are partly from inventory, and we also do outside rolling for certain products. So partly products come from that.
Sure. So connected question to this is what would be the net debt after June at the end of June 2022?
It's 180 crores.
180 crores. Okay. Sure.
And to share with you, the current net debt is higher than what it should be. The reason for that is because we had higher priced inventory which is getting eaten up because raw material was higher in Q1. Second, the price increases for the OEs happened in July.
Okay.
So the 9,000 rupees is a big chunk. And the invoicing of that is begun to happen now.
Okay.
And therefore, those amounts are lying as outstanding. So roughly over 30 crores is extra outstanding just because of the price increase.
Okay.
and therefore the debt is higher because of that. To that extent. So you will see these numbers normalizing by Q2. So Q1 actually we have a net negative cash flow despite having record profits. The cash flow is negative for Q1, but Q2, by end of Q2, we will be back to normal levels. End of the year, our net debt levels will be below 100 crores.
Right. As inventory. Okay, sure. Got it. Okay. You mentioned that we have received the final regulatory clearance from the Punjab Pollution Control Board. So, should we assume that our brownfield expansion is on track and should be completed by Q4 FY23?
No. See, there are several parts to this brownfield expansion. One part is the furnace part, increasing the production of the melting.
Okay.
So that part is completed.
Okay.
Second part is the environmental parts, which we said will get completed by December.
Okay.
Third part is rolling mill.
Right.
That will take some more time.
Okay.
And then fourth part is some additions to the rolling mill, which will increase our production further, improve quality, and so on. That will take still further time. And then there is the quality, the entity, the non-destructive testing line, which itself is a big chunk of investment, which will also take something like 2 years, 1.5 to 2 years from now. So there are several parts to it. The point is capacity now is no longer a constraint for sales for the next 2 years.
Okay.
So as the market demand picks up, we have the ability to service the market through our internal sources and through a bit of outsourcing.
Okay. So if there is demand, earlier our capacity expansion was to be completed by Q4 FY23, which would have increased.
No, we never said that. We've always said the melting will be done first, the rolling will take a little longer, and the rolling has got delayed because, as you are aware, that because of this global supply chain issues, the supply from all equipment manufacturers has got delayed.
Okay.
So it's for that reason. Otherwise, you are right that by end of this year, we were expecting a rolling mill expansion to also have got completed.
Right. Okay.
It'll take 1 year more, but we have been able to improve our productivity of a rolling mill. So the rolling mill, what I'm saying very clearly is capacity is no longer a constraint for sale.
Okay. So if there's a demand of say about 230 to 40,000 tons in the market, then we will be able to.
Next year we will be able to match 220 to 230,000 tons, 230 to 40. If the demand happens that level, we will be able to meet that demand.
Okay.
Yes.
So
I'm not expecting that kind of demand. So let's not let someone get a wrong impression.
Right. So that will be from debottlenecking and then some rolling outside as well, right?
Correct. And sometimes we buy billets from outside. So we able to do all those things sometimes to meet servicing requirements and so on.
Okay. Sure. And so in last couple of calls you've mentioned that there could be some
थोड़ी जापानी भी बोल लेंगे, थोड़ी पंजाबी से भी गल कर लांगे, बट हिंदी में कोई दिक्कत नहीं, मैं बनारस से पढ़ा हुआ हूँ।
सर मेरे को सिर्फ इतना जानना था फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल कि सर 2 व्हीलर्स का और 4 व्हीलर्स का एग्जैक्ट कितना वेटेज है स्टील्स के अंदर, लाइक आइदर मच मोर डिपेंडेंसी 4 व्हीलर्स में है कि 2 व्हीलर्स में? अभी
देखिए दोनों का लगभग आसपास है, और 2 व्हीलर्स का 32% के आसपास, 32% के आसपास होगा। ये क्वार्टर टू क्वार्टर थोड़ा बदलता रहता है, और 4 व्हीलर्स का 37-40% के आसपास होगा। और बट ट्रेंड आगे चलते हुए क्लियरली 4 व्हीलर्स की तरफ है। तो ट्रेंड क्लियरली 4 व्हीलर, क्योंकि सारा जो आईटी का बिजनेस है और जो सारा जो एक्सपोर्ट का बिजनेस जिसकी मैं बात कर रहा था, वो सारा 4 व्हीलर्स का है। तो आगे चल के 4 व्हीलर्स का मेरे ख्याल से 50 हाँ 50 to 60% होने की संभावना है आगे चल के।
ओके
सर, बड़ा क्लियरली 4 व्हीलर की तरफ है।
ओके, सेकेंड क्वेरी ये था कि सर एग्जैक्टली प्रिसाइजली हमारे कॉम्पिटिटर्स कौन है लिस्टेड में, क्योंकि जैसे भी मैं दिखते जा रहा हूँ तो उस कंपैरेटिवली हमारे कॉम्पिटिटर पीयर्स कौन से होंगे?
सो एग्जैक्टली कोई भी नहीं है।
ओके, एग्जैक्टली कोई नहीं है, बट नियर बाय सर 50-60% या 70% वेटेज आता होगा।
हाँ, तो नियर बाय अगर देखा जाए तो मेरे हिसाब से मुकंद,
ओके
मुकंद वो जो उनकी जो मुकंद सुमितोमो मुकंद जो हो गया है ना, वो वाली कंपनी। हाँ, तो वो वाली कंपनी सनफ्लैग।
ओके,
तो मेरे हिसाब से ये दोनों हमारे सबसे करीब होंगे मार्केट के हिसाब से, तो ये दोनों हैं।
ओके, क्योंकि सर जैसे लाइक बिजनेस और हम लोग व्यू देख रहे हैं, तो करंटली स्टॉक में आपका रॉ मटेरियल हुआ स्टील इज योर रॉ मटेरियल।
नहीं, स्टील नहीं, स्क्रैप हमारा रॉ मटेरियल है।
सॉरी, हाँ स्क्रैप होगा सर। नाउ अगर OEMs को आपको मिलना है, मानिए कि ऑटो कंपनीज को, देन यू टेक 3 months और 6 months दे टेक द कॉल फॉर द प्राइस हाइक। सो रिसेंट करेक्शन आया तो भी वी कैन नॉट बेनिफिट अ लॉट फ्रॉम दैट। आइदर ऑन इन्वेंट्री वाज देयर, द इन्वेंट्री एट पार हो गया कि OEMs ने आपको अभी रेट हाइक करके दिया, तो यू गॉट द सेल्स एंड यू गॉट द फिगर्स। सो आई जस्ट वांट टू नो लाइक हाउ मच इन्वेंट्री कंपनी रखती है टू कंसीडर के इस क्वार्टर का मीन्स 3 months की इन्वेंट्री रख के आप लोग वर्कआउट करते हो OEM से, कैसे करते हैं?
नहीं, तो साइकिल ऐसा है कि हर OE अलग अलग तरीके से काम करता है। तो कुछ OE है जो फॉर्मूला बेस पे काम करते हैं, बट हर एक कोई एवरेजेस की बात करता है। कोई 3 महीने की एवरेज प्राइसिंग लेके चलता है या 6 महीने की एवरेज प्राइसिंग लेके चलता है। इन्वेंट्री का डिसीजन किसी कंपनी का होगा कि इन्वेंट्री रखे ना रखे।
ओके,
और OEs जो हैं आमतौर पे जो क्वांटम ऑफ इंक्रीज है वो सेम देते हैं पूरी इंडस्ट्री को। तो मारुति अगर प्राइस इंक्रीज देगा तो एक कैटेगरी को देगा। अलॉय स्टील बार्स को अगर प्राइस इंक्रीज देगा, तो अगर 9,000 रुपए की प्राइस इंक्रीज दी है तो सभी को 9,000 रुपए की प्राइस इंक्रीज देगा। आपकी कॉस्ट ज्यादा बढ़ी है या कम हुई है उससे फर्क नहीं पड़ता।
ओके, राइट। क्योंकि सर
ये इंडस्ट्री में ये नेगोशिएशन जो है वो इंडस्ट्री वाइड चलती है।
बट सर दैट वुड आल्सो टेक 3 to 6 months ना?
नो,
तो लेते होंगे ना मीटिंग के लिए?
ना, क्योंकि हर क्वार्टर में बदल रहा है, तो आमतौर पे 1-1.5 महीने में हो जाता है। इस बार क्योंकि वॉलेटिलिटी इतनी ज्यादा थी, किसी को समझ नहीं आ रहा था किस बेसिस पे कैलकुलेट किया जाए।
ओके, सो दैट वाज
ये अनप्रेसिडेंटेड था कि जो इस बार जुलाई में जाके सेटलमेंट हुई है, ऐसा बहुत देर बाद देखा है मैंने।
ओके, और सर मेरे को ये समझना है कि आपका बिगेस्ट और द बेस्ट क्वार्टर कौन सा होता है? क्वार्टर 1, 2, 3, 4 में से देखा जाए तो?
ऐसा कुछ नहीं है, आमतौर पे Q2 बेस्ट होना चाहिए डिमांड के हिसाब से।
ओके
क्योंकि ओई में स्टॉकिंग अप चलती है दिवाली की सेल के लिए।
राइट।
तो सेल्स पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से आमतौर पे Q2 बेस्ट होना चाहिए।
ओके।
इस साल ऐसा एक्सपेक्ट नहीं कर रहे। 52,000 टन हमारा Q1 में हो गया, तो आप बोलेंगे भैया Q1 में 52 है, तो Q2 अगर आपका बेस्ट होता है, आप कह रहे हो डिमांड भी अच्छी है, तो Q2 में हमारी आम एक्सपेक्टेशन 52 से ऊपर होनी चाहिए। ऐसा नहीं होने वाला।
ओके। सेकेंड ये पूछना कि अगर आपके लिए बेनिफिशियरी मोस्टेस्ट क्या है, बेनिफिशियरी फॉर द कंपनी, कि स्टील के प्राइस लोएस्ट रहे तो अच्छा है, हाईएस्ट रहे तो अच्छा है, या तो ऑटोज में डिमांड अच्छी रहे तो अच्छा है? मीन्स अगर मेरे को कैटेगराइज करना है कि वर्धमान स्पेशलिटी स्टील है,
तो आमतौर पे नहीं, बिल्कुल सही, अच्छा बिल्कुल सही क्वेश्चन है आपका, और मैं भी स्ट्रगल करता हूँ। हमारे लिए बेस्ट है कि स्टील में मंदा ना हो और तेजी भी ना हो,
फ्लैट रहे तो।
हाँ, स्टील फ्लैट चल रहा है और ऑटो डिमांड अच्छी हो, वो बेस्ट सिनेरियो है।
वो बेस्ट सिनेरियो, क्योंकि ऑटो डिमांड इज एट द पीकेस्ट बिकॉज द प्लांट्स 100% पे वर्क ही नहीं कर रहे अभी। दे आर वर्किंग एट 70 और 80%, तो स्टील कम हो गया आपके लिए,
स्टील मंदा हो गया है।
राइट।
और स्टील मंदा डिमांड की वजह से नहीं हुआ, ये सरकार की जो पॉलिसी आई है 15% एक्सपोर्ट ड्यूटी लगाने की, उससे मंदा है। इट इज एन आर्टिफिशियली इंड्यूस्ड मंदा।
ओके।
और अगर ये पॉलिसी, जैसे कि ये सुनने में आया है कि टेम्पररी है और अगले कुछ महीनों में हट जाएगी, तो एकदम से डिमांड में ये स्टील में जो मंदा जो आया हुआ है, मंदा से नॉर्मल में आ जाएगा या तेजी में आएगा। आई बिलीव ये शेषाद्री राव की जो JSW के MD की स्टेटमेंट आई है कि Q3 में वो स्ट्रॉन्ग डिमांड एक्सपेक्ट कर रहे हैं। अब भाई वो बड़ी कंपनी है, वो जानते हैं, हम उनकी फॉलो करते हैं। अगर शेषाद्री राव जी कह रहे हैं कि स्टील में चीज़ें ठीक हो जाएंगी, तो हम भी ये मानेंगे कि आई प्रिज्यूम उनके भी उन्होंने ये अंदाज़ा लगाया होगा कि तब तक ये एक्सपोर्ट ड्यूटी हट जाएगी, एक्सपोर्ट टैक्स हट जाएगा।
राइट।
बट अगेन मेरे को कोई आइडिया नहीं, मैं तो उनकी स्टेटमेंट देख के अंदाज़ा लगा रहा हूँ। तो प्लीज़ मेरे को ना कर दीजिए कि
स्पेक्यूलेट ऑन द,
हाँ,
अंडरस्टैंड कि सर वो स्पेक्यूलेट नहीं करना, बट मेरे को भी समझना है कि अगर वर्धमान स्पेशलिटी स्टील का प्राइस यहाँ से डबल होगा, कि 3 टाइम्स होगा कि 5 टाइम्स होगा, तो कौन से सिनेरियो में होना चाहिए? ऑटो में तेजी होने, स्टील की तेजी या मंदी से, तो थोड़ा तो अपने को व्यू है कि इंडस्ट्री को या आपके स्टॉक को देखना कौन से सिनेरियो में चाहिए। ब्रैकेट।
ऑटो में तेजी, और बट अब एक उसमें फैक्टर सर आप भूल गए कि हमारे यहाँ पे बहुत बड़ा बिजनेस जो आने वाला है वो सारा एक्सपोर्ट का है, जो ऑटो की ना तेजी से फर्क पड़ता है ना मंदी से फर्क पड़ता है।
ओके सर, बट दैट इज गोइंग टू कम आफ्टर 2025।
नहीं, 2025 में आ जाएगा, ये तो हर साल अब आना शुरू हो गया है, वो पार्ट शुरू हो गया हमारा अगले साल से।
आईजी में जो सेल कर रहे हो वो सर, दैट व्हाट यू आर सेलिंग टू आईजी।
हाँ, तो अगले साल से नजर आना शुरू हो जाएगा।
So from next year, so that would be how much the proportionate ratio of the sales?
That is a small proportion, still will not, so I think उसका impact आना शुरू हो जाएगा। We will not be sharing yearly हम कितना
No, 5%, 10% तो अभी हो रहा होगा ना, तो ही आप इतना कन्विक्शन से बोल सकते हो सर।
अभी नहीं हो रहा, अभी तो स्टार्ट हुआ है, अभी तो जुमा
The next question is from the line of Anil Kumar Sharma, individual investor. Please go ahead.
Good afternoon, sir, and congrats for the great numbers again. Sir, my question is, as you said, the OEMs give increase on industry-wise level. So there are three, as you said, there are three competitors mainly. But there are, for example, Sunflag, their process is different. They are not using electrographite. So are they in a better position, or we are in a better position in this scenario?
सर कहना बड़ा मुश्किल है, तो वो तो आप लोग को जज करना है कौन बेटर पोजीशन में है. आप हमें देखिए, मैं किसी कॉम्पिटिटर पे कम्पीट नहीं करना चाहूँगा कि हम उनसे बेटर हैं कि वो हमसे बेटर हैं.
नहीं, मेरा पॉइंट वो नहीं है. मतलब जब प्राइस की बात आती है, उस पॉइंट से मैं कह रहा हूँ.
वो चेंज होता रहता है. प्राइस में तो जिसकी चल जाए, जिसकी नेगोशिएशन चल जाए, उसकी चल जाती है. तो पिछले 2 साल से हम लोग सेट कर रहे थे प्राइसिंग, इस बार किसी और को बुलाया गया, तो वही जो टेस्ट करता है कि किस की बात, तो ये चेंज होता रहता है. बट ओवरऑल एडवांटेज के लिए आई विल से कि आने वाले समय में जैसे जैसे एनवायरनमेंट कॉन्शियस बढ़ती जाती है, कार्बन फुटप्रिंट जो है वो वर्धमान स्पेशल स्टील का सारे हमारे कंपटीटर्स और पूरी इंडस्ट्री में सबसे कम होगा. तो जैसे जैसे ये एनवायरनमेंट कॉन्शियसनेस बढ़ती जाएगी और कस्टमर्स में बातचीत होनी शुरू हो गई है, so as this environment consciousness improves, you will see that Vardhman Special Steel will be the biggest beneficiary of environment consciousness, because we use a recycled process, electric arc furnace. Our impact on the environment is the lowest.
Right, sir. And best wishes for the great numbers. You are doing great efforts for that. We wish you a very good act from core of our heart.
Thanks, Valerie.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Rushabh from RS Capital Service. Please go ahead.
Hello.
Go ahead, you're audible.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, hi, sir. So actually, I'm first time joining. I'm just trying to understand, sir, your vision. I was just going to presentation, like as the car is transitioning from gasoline to hybrid to EV, and we are transitioning towards more specialty products for EV. So from a 3 to 5 year perspective, how does the pricing power with the OEMs change? And also in the terms of volumes, as you said, more than export will come into the picture. So we'll have more of steady business going forward. So please explain here, sir.
So first of all, this is your assumption that is a logical change to EVs. That is your assumption.
Well, is there a presentation that the industry will shift, one of these slides?
People are saying you put in a presumption, but this is an assumption, and this assumption may not play out in the next 10 years. May not. Okay. We don't know. Okay, so we are preparing ourselves for both the worlds. We are preparing ourselves for the world in which EV is going to be the dominant player. We don't think we don't believe that is the scenario. But if that is the scenario, we have to be ready for that. So we are preparing for EVs, and currently about 6% of our business last year was sales to EVs. And going ahead, we will be increasing our percentage towards EVs because we are ready with those products.
Okay.
Second, the negotiation power. Please understand, we are talking to global OEs. As a small steel company, there is no negotiating power that we have with these companies. So even to think that you can have a negotiating power with these global OEs is a misconception. So we don't venture into that area. If we had a negotiating power, would we say we'll be 7 to 10,000 range EBITDA per ton? We will say we'll be 20,000 rupees EBITDA per ton. Okay? And so our belief is that gasoline engine will stay for a longer time than most people think. We also believe that hybrid cars is the way forward for the environment. And actually, the more and more studies are coming out that EVs, actually the carbon footprint of an EV over the lifetime of the car is higher than that of even a diesel engine. Yeah, so it's a shocking thing, but I just came across a study. So this is not my view. This is a study which has come out in a reputed journal. So I'm just sharing that that there are enough counter views coming in now, more and more counter views coming in, that EVs is not the way for the future from the environment point of view. It's a better car to drive, somebody wants to use it, somebody who's driven a Tesla is an excellent car, and so on. But when the subsidies get withdrawn from this industry, highly subsidized, and where is the electricity grid? Where is the power? So, all those are questions that have to come in. Anyway, this is not my area of expertise, but I'm just saying that EVs may or may not be the future for the next 10 years. Beyond 10 years, who knows?
Correct.
And I'm not saying they will not be. I'm just saying the questions have started coming up that it may not be as attractive as people are thinking it to be.
Correct.
That's all I'm saying.
In terms of sourcing, initially we'll be targeting all Japanese OEs. So most of the capacity will be towards fulfilling that demand, right, going forward. Then we might become an export hub, going forward.
So let me say that we are not particularly oriented towards Japanese, but if you look at the Indian market, it is dominated by Japanese companies. So it is Maruti, Toyota, Honda, Nissan, 4 Japanese OEs. If you look at motorcycles also, Hero is originally from the Japanese, from the Hero Honda technology. So it's a Honda technology based material. So is Honda, so is Yamaha, so is TVS. So, it is just that India is a market dominated by Japanese. There is, of course, Hyundai, there is Tata, and in addition, Southeast Asia also largely, it is Japanese oriented. So, keeping these two scenarios in mind, I think that is why we searched for a Japanese partner. We were lucky, we got Aichi as our partners, and so we have catered to the Japanese, because that is what the market is. Correct. If the market was, let's say, if Indian market was dominated by Volkswagen and Peugeot and Renault, if that was the domination, we would probably look for a German partner.
And so you just mentioned that Mukund is a competitor now. Now they have some tie-up with Sumitomo.
No, they were always a competitor. Now they are a competitor. Mukund is number 1 in this industry. Okay, so they set the industry benchmark. So they haven't become a competitor now. They were always the competitor, and they are the market leaders.
And so post this tie-up, they become even more better because they have no tie-up with Sumitomo.
Not necessarily, because Sumitomo is not a steel company.
Yeah.
Sumitomo is a trading company.
Okay, thank you.
If my view you want out here, amongst all the special steel companies, our alliance with Aichi is the strongest alliance, because Aichi is acknowledged in Japan as the best automotive steel maker. Tie-up is with a steel maker, with an automotive steel maker, and which is acknowledged as the best automotive steel manufacturer in Japan and probably the world. So going forward, I don't think any other company will be able to stand up to us when the full advantage of Aichi technology comes to us.
Okay. Thank you so much. All the best.
Thank you. Participants, you may press star and 1 to ask a question. The next question is from the line of Uday Prakash from Value Research India Private Limited. Please go ahead.
Hi, sir. Congrats on the
Thank you, Uday.
I just have a couple of questions.
Hey, your voice is muffled, Uday. I can't hear you clearly.
Yes, sir. Can you hear me now?
Yes, much better. Thank you.
In the last quarter,
Sorry to interrupt you. Sir, there is a slight disturbance. One moment. Sorry to interrupt you. There's slight disturbance. Participants, please stay connected while we rejoin the management line back to the call. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your patience. We have the line for the management reconnected. So please go ahead. Uday, can I request you to repeat your question from the beginning?
Yes, sure. So in the last quarter, management had stated that in May, sample orders to IT were coming. So have we received any response on that, maybe on quality or something? And are we still sticking to the plan of commencing production in FY24?
Yeah. So, Uday, the process of trial orders is continuous, and regular production has also started. So because there are so many parts for which the steel is going and so many steels that are getting approved, so every quarter we are receiving approval of one or the other steel quality, and then trial order for that is going on. And for the ones where the trial orders have gone earlier, the manufacturing orders started coming in, production orders started. So the process is in full flow.
Okay, sir. My second question is, you had stated that many other OEMs other than Toyota are also in the inquiry. Are we having any further discussions with any of them with the potential to convert them into sales, or are they just in the inquiry?
No, these are in the serious discussions. So Yamaha very clearly is coming in. There are a few others that are, I think, because Yamaha is an existing customer, but thanks to IT support being there, now they're looking at us for global operations. There are a few other OEs which are being discussed, and thankfully, IT is using their offices for each of these OEs also, which is in addition to their business. We're getting the support of IT fully in all, because all the Japanese OEs are contacting them straight.
Okay. My third question is that stated price increase from OEMs were received at rupees 9,000, and then you stated that there was a price reduction also of rupees up to rupees 4,000 per ton in Q2. So what is the effect, sir? Can you please make it clear? When will the 4,000 reduction will have an effect in our revenue on our EBITDA?
Yeah. So let's say only one OE has not yet given the price increase of Q1, which is Tata Motors. Okay. So there's only one OE that has not given the increase. Of course, in our portfolio, it's a very small amount, so it really doesn't matter too much. But yes, so all other OEs have settled Q1. In Q2, because costs have gone down and the market sentiment of steel has gone down for both reasons, the auto OEs have reduced prices. So from 1st of July, that is Q2, all invoicing will be at a lower price. So the OEs have agreed on a 4,000 rupees reduction. So a 9,000 rupees increase, if you look at March prices, Q1 is a 9,000 rupees increase for most of the OEs, and Q2 is a 4,000 rupees reduction from that, which means still a 5,000 rupees increase from March prices. This is for most of the OEs. But one of the OEs has not yet agreed on Q2, though has agreed on Q1, and Tata, since they're not even agreed on Q1, there's no question of agreeing on Q2. So there is something still pending, but most of the OEs have settled for Q2 also. So we have a reasonable handle, not a complete handle, but a reasonable handle, at least on the profitability of Q2. Now, since Tata has not given any price increase in Q1, so it's not been settled so far, so we have not taken impact of any increase which was given by Tata. If they give any increase in Q1, that will be added to Q2 numbers.
Okay, sir. So, sir, how long would it take actually for us to reflect this reduction or increase? Would it take a month? This numbers to reflect?
No. It is put into effect within a couple of days, because once the OE increases, then the next process is then they get internal approvals, and then the paperwork gets done, then they send it to us, then they send it to their tier 1. So the whole process takes about 15 days or so, roughly.
Yes.
Roughly 50.
So right now, the prices are fluctuating highly. So if the prices increase once again, next quarter, let's say in Q3, is it possible for us to have an increment once again? Will the OEM accept it, or because we've already done it in Q1, would it be difficult?
No, there's no such thing. So if the costs increase in Q2 and raw material cost increases in Q2 and the market situation indicates towards that, we will justifiably ask for a price increase in Q3. As of now, we've settled only Q2. So till 30th September, our fate is sealed for most of the OEs. Q3 is wide open.
Okay. Thank you, sir. That's it.
Thank you. Participants, you may press star and 1 to ask a question. The next question is from the line of Rohan Mehta, individual investor. Please go ahead.
Good afternoon, sir, and congratulations on a great quarter.
Thank you, Rohan.
Most of my questions are already answered, and just had a couple of more. With the expansion plans that we have over the next few years, would capex be funded mainly from the funds that we have received from IG and internal accruals, or is there any chance of any equity dilutions as well, or any other scheme?
So if I look at the capacity expansion has two parts. One is the capacity expansion in the existing location. So which is what is going to happen in the next 2 to 3 years. So that it can be funded totally by internal accruals and a little bit of incremental debt. So we don't need a dilution from the company's point of view. Now, moment we put up a new plant, the greenfield plant, which will cost anywhere between 1,500 to 2,000 crores, we will need an equity dilution. So this is as far as need is concerned from purely financing angle. There is another need which comes in terms of demonstrating to the Japanese OEs the seriousness of Aichi and the importance of Vardhman Special Steel in Aichi and the Toyota system. Right. So this would mean at some stage, though the company may not financially need any further money, there could be a possibility of Aichi increasing their stake from the current levels.
Okay.
So that possibility is clearly there. In fact, when we signed the agreement, there is an agreement with them that at some stage they will increase their stake from the current 11. See, 11.5% is too small a stake. As we become extremely important in Toyota's global system, they will, in all probabilities, they will want to increase the stake from the current levels.
Right. So you had mentioned this in one of the earlier calls as well, sir.
Exactly. So I'm saying, yes, the company doesn't need any money, but for strategic reasons, there could be a possibility of dilution at some stage.
We are looking closer to the latter half of the decade, right, sir?
See, there are two parts again. One is need. The need will be in the second, as you rightly said, the latter half of the decade, where we put up the new greenfield. Then there will be need. Yeah. But the strategic part can happen anytime. It could happen next year. It could happen 2 years from now, 3 years from. I don't know. It is when Aichi feels the right time. Because just now the business for Toyota has just started. Yeah. When it picks up a little bit of momentum, at some stage they may want to increase their stake.
Okay.
And we'll facilitate that. So as a company management, we have already agreed, as Vardhman Group, we have agreed that at some stage they want to increase their stake. We would welcome them to increase the stake in the company.
Okay.
Now, but the probability that Vardhman will sell shares to them is very low, and therefore any increase in stake that they put in will be through further dilution, fresh equity. Right. So which means the company becomes even stronger with more fund infusion rather than the probability that promoting companies will be selling their stake.
Fair enough. That is good to hear, sir. So, and about the immediate expansion at the current facilities that you mentioned, so what kind of incremental capacity would be at our disposal? over the next 2-3 years?
Currently, our capacity is 2 lakh tons of billet making and 180,000 tons of rolled product.
Alright.
By the time we complete the current phase of expansion in the existing location, our capacity on the existing product mix will go up to about 250 to 260,000 tons of billet making and about 225 to 230,000 tons of rolled production. But now some of the products that from IT that will come in will perhaps need a little lower productivity. So then the capacity will be dependent on the product mix that comes in and may fluctuate, may come down a bit. But in all probabilities, the capacity with the enhanced product mix will be 240,000 tons or above in billet making.
Got it, sir. Just one last question, sir. Speaking of IG, now that you've mentioned in the presentation that the supply of trial orders has begun. So if you could just shed some light on how that's going and if there's any feedback from IG.
See, trial orders have been approved, which is why the production orders have begun.
Right.
So, but there are several parts because we are to be the dominant supplier of one of the major auto platforms of Toyota.
Correct.
In 2025. So one by one, various parts are being added to our kitty. So as each part, the approval comes in, and it's a tedious process to get approvals of each part.
Right.
So it's part by part approval. It's not that Vardhman steel is approved and you can produce anything. So Vardhman steel has to be approved, then the steel has to be approved, and then for each part, the steel has to be approved.
Approved, right.
Yeah. So all that process is going on. And saying the final approvals have started coming in, and so the manufacturing orders have begun. Now, in the next few months, we will know how is the impact of the manufactured products that are going in. Okay. But IT's own people are here, their own quality people are here, so they are making sure that the product is as per Toyota's specifications.
Right. All right. Got it, sir. Okay. That's all from my end, and thank you. All the best, sir.
Thank you very much. As there are no further questions, I will now hand the conference over to Mr. Sachit Jain for closing comments.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for showing your interest in our company. We remain committed to our vision of being the #1 company in India in specialized steels. And when I say #1, it means in quality, in safety, and in customer appreciation. We will never be #1 in terms of size. There will be much bigger companies than us in this area. The other area we want to be in is to be a world-class company that anywhere in the world, when people talk about the leading special steel companies that are equivalent to the best in the world, we want to be up there in that name. So that is what drives our company. And thanks to our partners, IG, we are started off on a good footing. I wanted to share this also. The first 3 years term with IG will be coming to an end by September, and we are in the process of negotiating the fees and other terms, etc., for the next 3 years. So those will be finalized in the next couple of months. From 1st of October, we'll be working with the contract for the next 3 years. So overall, this year will remain a bit choppy and uncertain still. But on an overall basis, I remain optimistic about the business, primarily because of our partners and the support and the clear runway that we're getting thanks to them. Our team has worked well and our bankers have supported us well. So our EBITDA to capital employed and all other things, our eye is on the ball on all those parameters that you as investors are also looking at. So thank you so much once again for showing your support in our company.
Thank you very much. On behalf of IIFL Securities Limited, that concludes this conference. Thank you for joining us. You may now disconnect.